Hello and welcome back to John's Random Reviews. Right then, let's get stuck into my review and alteration of this Makita 3-inch cut-off tool. It is the DMC 300. It's pretty new actually. I saw pictures of it and I saw a demo of it about a year ago. And then in the last 6 months, to be able to buy this, they're quite cheap. I'll put the price up there somewhere, how much this thing is. But I didn't have to pay for it. I got this for a Christmas present off my missus and my son. So that's really nice, isn't it? So straight away, I thought, how can I make it better? Why am I thinking of altering it? And well, I haven't really tested it really. I kind of what's it going to do? It's just going to cut like a grinder. So it sounds a bit weird. I guess that's the speed of it. It makes a funny noise. It's quite ergonomically good, apart from... Why have they done that? What's the point? It must be a balance thing, I think. They must have thought, we'll put it at an angle to sort of make it, to balance it better. Or if you think about like that, maybe catching there. But even if it had been not quite straight, it'd have been a lot better than that. So it has to rest on its side when you're not using it. So it's an LXT tool, so 18 volt. I've got one of these 2 amp batteries on it that makes it super light. If I'm using a little tool like this, I try and use the small batteries, so it just makes it light and manoeuvrable. So the weird thing about this tool, well, I don't know, I think it's weird. All the grinders I've had have just been ran one way, and this has got a forward and reverse. So you flick a switch there. So I guess that depends on which bit you're cutting and the angle of it, and it might work better one way than the other in certain sort of cases or certain jobs. But I don't know. Anyway, never mind about that. It's got a pretty neat sort of dust cover there at the back. Stop all the crap getting into it, because grinders, especially if you're using, well, I've already said about this, bloody hell, do not use grinders or these for cutting tiles, because even if, there we go, just get that back on. Even if you kind of keep this clean, it still, I think, is going to get in. I think it's going to get little spots where it's going to get in, and it's going to knacker it up if that gets all sort of tile dust in the middle of it. So, okay, hang on. This is one of my New Year's resolutions: drink more water. My other New Year's resolution was to be a little bit safer. Some of my videos where I don't play them by the book. Anyway, but I'm trying to set a better example this year. I'm trying to be a bit safer. Now, I'm just maybe contradicting myself because I'm altering this head of it. But I'm doing it. It's my bloody tool. My missus isn't very happy, but if I do completely wreck it, I'll just get another one. Do you know what I mean? Or whatever. Whatever. I'll buy my missus something. How does that sound? Anyway, I thought initially when I got this tool, I thought, okay, well, it's good for cutting off little, like this little screw here, little screw or little bits and bobs, because as you can see, I think you only get like about 15 mil of cut. And if you're doing a bit of a cut with quite tough stuff and that goes down a little bit, oh, you've got hardly anything to cut. Obviously, if you're using the diamond cutter all the time, or there's another cutter that comes with it that's cuts plastic, I'll go through that in a little bit. So these are the other discs that come in the box. You get a cutting one, and you get a diamond cutter. It's actually, I said 75 mil, it's actually 76 mil. These discs. So if you were cutting I already said about cutting tiles, but if you had to cut a nick out of a tile, let's say you were putting a shower in or something and you needed to do a couple of nicks, or even down the grout line, as long as you got a hoover anyway, so you get a diamond cutter and you get this string. I've never actually used one of these. It's like are they called a multi-material thing? What are they called? It doesn't say. Well, it says epoxy. It's for cutting epoxy, PVC, and I don't know what that one is. Anyway, it's a steel disc with these bits of, I presume it's tungsten, little tungsten grits bonded onto this edge of the metal disc. It just looks, have I used that a little bit? I don't know. Anyway, it just looks a bit like, I don't know, it looks like they've just been glued on with super glue. I guess they know what they're doing, but it just looks a bit, I don't know. And there's hardly any of these bits on it. Anyway, I'll have to give this a bit of a test another time. So there's the discs that come in the box. So you haven't got a really lot of depth of cut. And also, if I wanted a little cut-off tool, let's say, for example, look at this, is a good example. Look at this screw down here. Now, if someone had put this in by mistake, or I'd done it, and this is like a sort of a laminate board, and you needed to nick that off, but you couldn't afford to take this whole board off, and you needed to patch that a little bit easily, with just a little bit of filler or something. The problem you could have, hang on, is, you see that? You can't really get, if you can cut it, and what it does, it'll make like a gouge inside. It's just, you won't be able to get a nice tidy cut. What if I could lower it a little bit? So this blade here was sort of nearer the surface. So what we're going to do, we're going to sort of, I'll cut this off as best I can, this screw, in a minute. I'll move the camera, and then we'll see how neat I can do it. And then when I do the alterations afterwards, if they work, and then we'll go into it again. Right, what is the plan? Right, now then, you can get, this is a 75mm metal cutting blade, and you can get 100mm ones that go on them air tools. And yes, I've checked, it's the same, you can get the same rating because this runs at 2000 RPM, and you can get a 100mm disc that'll go on this after a little bit of alteration that's still rated. Now then, I've had a message off Mr. Tools, and he's the man, he's the expert. He kind of said, "Oh, make sure it's your disc blade rating is right, and also it might put too much strain on the tool because it'll be rated. The tool will be set up, the motor will be set up to run these 75s. So I'm going to try and put like a 100mm disc on it. Will it make a difference? It might. Personally, it might a little bit, but I'm going to see. We're going to give it a test, and then with the 100mm blade on, but and then we're going to see if it overheats the motor or something. I'm just going to take it steady. You can take it really steady. I'm going to have all my glasses on and everything, so don't worry about that. So, obviously, if I get a 100mm blade on this, I'm going to have to take this off. Just a little bit of a recap about that. When I said about cutting it right close to the bottom, you could have said, oh, just take the blade off. Just take the cover off. And then you'll get a little bit closer, apart from this bit here. But like I said, I know I've made a few fuck-ups with grinders in the past, but I'm trying to be safer, so I didn't really want to take the blade guard off. And that's actually sort of screwed on. It's not easy to take that off anyway. So the plan is to take this blade guard off, and I've bought a 4-inch one. Okay, bear with me. So I'm going to cut part of that off and then get it welded onto there. I'll show you in a minute. So that's that bit of it. So that'll be still safe-ish. But this bit here, I'm going to try and sort of make that bit shorter there. Right, I'm going to try and cut that screw as close as I can without damaging this laminate. So that's the plan. Well, not bad. You can see it scored the laminate a little bit, but I was, like I said, I was trying pretty hard not to sort of like get the blade to skip off. Bloody hell. Oh, metal splinter. Hang on. Oh my God. There, got it out. Bloody hell, that stung a little bit. Anyway, yeah, so when we get the tool adapted, we're going to go and see if we can get a better do at that, getting a screw head, a screw body off if there's been a mistake happened. So the plan is, I'm taking all this to bits now, and this is the discard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut round there, cut all that bit off. And then I'm going to do a similar sort of thing to, you see where I'm going here, I'm going to do a similar sort of thing to this one here. And I'm going to get that welded onto that. So, yeah, that bit sort of looks like, like that, in a way. So I'm going to have a word with my local welder friend and see if he can do it. And then, I don't know whether, do you think I should do it when I get it done? So I might do it silver so it looks the same. Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to spray that up silver. So that's that bit done. And I can't really do a lot with this one really to make it a little bit lower, but I'm going to try. What I'm going to do is see where that hexagon bit is there. I'm going to cut that off, flush across, and then make two flats on that bit. So I think it'll make it quite a bit sort of closer to a flush cut. And also, I might cut a little bit off that. Now you might be saying, oh, you said you were going to try and be safer this year. Yeah, I did, but I think the blade ends up being over here somewhere. So I'm just gonna cut a little bit off that, and then hopefully I can get a flusher cut. Anyway, I'll see you next time.